everyone, my name is Shayna, and this is episode 3 of Catharsis Inc., where I delve into all things writing, literature, art, cinema, and anywhere my inner musings take me. And on this episode, I will be reviewing Jennette McCurdy's debut fiction novel, Half His Age. So without further ado, let's get into it. In my late teens and early 20s, a hit show on Nickelodeon called iCarly caught my attention with its quirky characters, slapstick one-liners, and trio of friends not unlike the Golden Trio in Harry Potter, who I had grown up with. Sam was always my favorite character. I found her tomboyish rebellion and struggles with authority to be relatable. So when I heard about McCurdy's memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died, I knew I wanted to read it, and it absolutely broke me. Not only was the character she played in iCarly relatable, but so was McCurdy in real life. As the audience, we are often blindsided to discover that our favorite actors in films and TV shows aren't in real life who they seem to be on the screen. And it's easy to do, especially if the actor does well at what they do. So when I read her memoir, I was shocked to discover all that McCurdy was dealing with behind the camera. But those that make us laugh are often the ones with the darkest secrets, like the beloved Robin Williams. Since I enjoyed McCurdy's memoir so much, I knew I had to read Half His Age as soon as it came out this year. The novel has been widely discussed for its provocative subject matter and darkly humorous tone, and it did not disappoint. So let's first talk about the story's plot. The story follows a 17-year-old high school senior named Waldo who lives in Anchorage, Alaska. Waldo has been navigating a turbulent home her entire life with a young, largely absent mother and a series of failed relationships. As her senior year begins, she finds herself infatuated and aroused by her creative writing teacher, Mr. Corgi, who's a 40-year-old married man with a child. And they abruptly become involved in a sexual and emotionally charged relationship. McCurdy portrays their affair in explicit detail, highlighting the power dynamics, obsession, and emotional complexity of a student-teacher relationship. These experiences are also intertwined with Waldo's compulsive online shopping sprees, her struggle for self-worth, and her attempts to reconcile desire with the realities of adult manipulation. Next, let's delve into several interwoven themes within the novel. One of the main themes of the novel is female rage and agency, which McCurdy has stated in several interviews regarding this book. Waldo's anger and assertiveness are definitely central to her character as a whole, which reflects McCurdy's interest in portraying female desire and power without moralizing. This leads into the novel's second theme of desire and obsession. The story examines the intensity of adolescent longing, both sexual and emotional, and the psychological consequences of pursuing forbidden relationships. Another theme addressed in this book is consumerism and class, with Waldo's impulsive shopping habits and awareness of social status, which underscores the novel's critique of materialism and societal pressures. And then there is also the theme of loneliness and validation, and the narrative emphasizes this theme in Waldo's search for recognition and connection, both in personal relationships and through external validation. Next, let's talk about the context of the novel. I've been watching several interviews of McCurdy talking about the book, and she has said the inspiration behind the novel comes from her own experiences with a significant age gap relationship during her teenage years, though she has emphasized that the story is not autobiographical. And she does remark on this relationship in her memoir. She also stated that this book continues her exploration of past trauma, desire, and empowerment, which are all themes she previously addressed in her memoir as well. But now that I've talked about the book and its contents, let's talk about my personal opinion of the book. So, just to be transparent, I am not a big romance and spice reader. My favorite genres are memoirs and historical fiction, specifically surrounding World War II. I also love a good psychological thriller from time to time. And while I wouldn't classify this as a romance due to the relationship's nature, I will say The Spice was about a 3 out of 5. There are also moments that held shock value and could be described as disturbing or grotesque to some, but they fit the novel well in my opinion, and I didn't feel like they were unnecessary. They weren't just thrown in there. As far as the characters go, I found them relatable and close to home. Mr. Corgi actually reminds me so much of my husband with his passion for writing, art, and cinema. And my husband and I both relate to Mr. Corgi's sadness and disappointment with the mundanity of life and the humdrum of day-to-day life with no time for things we are passionate about, like writing. And I also found myself relating to Waldo, her home life and desire to be seen and acknowledged, not only by Mr. Corgi, but by her mother as well. And the way she uses online shopping as an escape from her reality, and then later after the dopamine high has fizzled out, she regrets her purchases and feels even more depressed, I think can be related by most of us with all the stress going on in the world. So yeah, definitely found that relatable. But I have to say, I love this book and rated it a 4 stars. The way it shocked me, made me question things about life and myself. The way it teased the reader not only sexually, but also psychologically. However, I will say that I wasn't expecting the ending. And that's a bad thing. Normally it's a good thing, but in this case it's a bad thing, which resulted in the 4 stars instead of the 5 stars. And I'll give a spoiler alert warning here because I'd like to share some thoughts on the ending. So if you haven't read the book yet, skip ahead or stop this episode and come back and listen when you have. I will play this sound when I begin the spoiler and when I am done with the spoiler. So let's get into it. So I was not expecting Waldo to leave peacefully. I was expecting the cliche of someone finding out about the affair and things going horribly wrong. I also thought, based on Franny's personality and Mormon background, that she definitely would have told on Mr. Corgi despite Waldo pleading with her. So that felt a little out of character for me. And when I first finished the novel, I felt let down by the ending. I was thinking, that's it? Like, it was so intense, the entire book, and then you get to the ending and you're just like, huh? But after chewing on it for a while, I realized that Waldo's choice to walk away from not only Mr. Corgi, but also her mother was a calculated choice by McCurdy and Waldo. Waldo finally reached the point where she was tired of being let down by others, especially the 2 people she loved the most, the people who were ironically supposed to be the adults, and Waldo ended up becoming the adult herself, which often happens in, home life situations such as Waldo's. And she finally rewarded herself with a healthy choice, a trip that was both sentimental and long overdue, despite her having to go alone. But alas, after chewing on that ending, I still didn't like it. I wanted more. I wanted it to be conducive with the rest of the book. I wanted it to shock me and play with me psychologically. I just wanted more. Now that the spoiler is over, let's talk about who should read this book. Half His Age is for readers interested in complex coming-of-age narratives, psychological realism and character-driven stories, dark humor and provocative themes, and exploration of power dynamics and female agency. But this book may not appeal to those seeking conventional romance, clear moral resolutions, or comfortable reading experiences, because it was none of those. But that's it for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed this deep dive into Half His Age by Jennette McCurdy. Stay tuned for March's episode because I will be comparing and contrasting Wuthering Heights by Charlotte Bronte to all of the TV and movie adaptations ever made. My husband will be joining me as a special guest on next month's episode because his love for cinema, literature, and the arts runs through his veins as it does mine. So we will be discussing the good, bad, and the ugly of Wuthering Heights. So stay tuned. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll be back next month with another one.